Fright and consternation grips the entire nation following the brutal murder of a young woman in Muyuka in the southwest region of the country. A reporter captured the reaction of political actors and human rights organizations on the fatal act that claimed the life of the Cameroonian. And the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, has responded to concessions of the Ebo Forest following the protests of political actors and civil society activists. On our economic page, transportation of goods from farm to market roads, farmers say, is a main reason why prices of plantains are relatively high in the market. Those are top stories. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the 6 p.m. newscast on Spectrum Television. I am Josephine Bindzi. As announced in the headlines, the jaw-dropping video of the gruesome murder of a Cameroonian woman in Muyuka subdivision by suspected separatist fighters has attracted the attention of several political actors and human rights groups. Our reporter captured the reaction of some of these persons and has the following details.
The brutal killing of a lady in Muyuka in the southwest region by suspected separatist fighters has sparked a lot of outrage. Politicians, civil society leaders and human rights groups have taken on their social media platforms to condemn the act. Barrister Akere Muna on his Twitter page described it as barbaric and unacceptable. Barrister Agbon Congo says killing our people in the name of liberating them is rather unfortunate. Reacting to STV News Desk, Maximilian Gombe, the executive director of the Central African Network of Human Rights Defenders, says she stands against any form of maltreatment against women.
Can justify this barbarism of women. We haven't even digested what happened with Florence Ayafo yet. When we say this, while condemning this despicable act because she's first and foremost a woman, and these barbaric acts against women are crimes against humanity.
She added that it is time for action to speak louder than words.
An opportunity for all to call on the government to seek out these culprits and so that they are punished. And another opportunity given us to call all Cameroonian friends, to call traditional authorities, religious, civil society, human rights commission in Cameroon, ONU, AU, political parties, and all partners, Cameroonians partners in development, to find a peaceful solution to this crisis. And in the REDAC, we have been saying enough since 2018 that we have a proposal who are Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission.
Fabrice Lina, the Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, also joined the condemnation bandwagon.
I will not be indifferent to the shocking images and videos circulating in the social media of a young lady that has been decapitated. It's so shocking that what is happening in the southern Cameroon is far from the dream of the revolution, is far from the dream of the struggle. And I want to condemn these acts in strongest terms because these are acts of human rights violations.
These reactions are coming after a video circulating on social media saw the gruesome killing of a lady from her neck. It is coming few weeks after another was killed in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon. Killings by unknown individuals continue to increase in the Anglophone regions of the country.
And onto this brief, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party has raised several reasons for the annulment of their civil disobedience scheduled for the 14th of July 2020. Firstly, due to the prohibition of the market on the 14th of August in order not to trouble public space. Secondly, due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic still in the country. And finally, for political reasons or concerns raised by the National Directory of the CRM party. Traders at the Sandaga market complain of cold sales due to the limited access to farm-to-market roads for the transportation of plantains in urban markets. This has propelled them to sell a little more higher than they used to do. Catherine Kone with the following details.
Prices of plantain has witnessed a sudden increase since the start of the rainy season. According to some traders, the increase is as a result of bad road.
No plantain in the market because there is a bad road. To transfer it from the farm to the market, there is no road. Lack of road transportation, means of transportation, there is no way.
There is no road. There are plantains in the forest, but to carry them is a big problem. Even cars have refused to carry us because of the nature of the road. Though lying in hordes, as though kept ready to lure customers into buying them, the prices are frightening, as the traders explain.
Yes, customers, they need plantains, but to buy a bunch of plantains these days is very dear. Because there is no plantain in the market.
There are bunches we buy for 10,000, 11,000, 8,000, which we used to buy for 5,000, 4,000 francs. But now the prices are from 7,500. There are bunches of 12,000, 11,000. While calling on the government to look into their situation, the traders say they now retail the plantains in order to make sales.
My own proposal is that we beg the government to arrange the roads so in order for the farmers to send the plantains in the market.
We are forced to retail because the majority of people, for them to buy in bunches is not easy. So we put 6 fingers of plantains for 1,000 francs and 9 fingers of plantains for 2,000 francs. Plantains, which used to be consumed by many, its demand still seems to be really slow and almost not picking up at all.
Onto our cholera season, medical experts have urged the population to maintain utmost hygiene, like the constant washing of hands before and after using the restroom, before grabbing a bite, and even after interaction with people to help mitigate the spread of the cholera epidemic.
Having access to good and potable water is essential in the fight against the cholera epidemic. This is because these precious liquids serves several purposes.
Je vais commencer par dire que tout repose déjà sur les mesures d'hygiène de base.
I will start by saying everything depends on basic hygiene. Wash your hands before and after using the toilet. Wash your hands before eating. Wash your hands after greeting people. That's the first rule. After washing your hands, properly wash vegetables before consumption. For example, fruits, vegetables, and drink clean and potable water. The water we use in drinking and cooking has to be good and potable water.
Maintenant, l'eau avec laquelle on prépare doit également être une eau potabilisée en quelque sorte.
However, for water to be used, some conditions have to be met.
Rendre une eau potable, on peut avoir une eau potable directement, disons l'eau déjà qui nous vient de la Société des eaux, mais ou alors, si nous n'avons pas la possibilité d'avoir cette eau, on peut avoir notre filtre à la maison que nous devons bien entrer.
For potable water, it can be mineral water. Or if we don't have the possibility to get that, we can have a filter in the house. That will be well taken care of. We also have other ways to make sure water is clean. We expose it to heat, boil it and filter. For those who can't afford a filter or buy mineral water, or those who are living in areas without good and potable water, they can boil the water.
Ou bien les gens qui vivent là où n'existe pas de l'approvisionnement en eau potable, ils peuvent eux-mêmes chercher à potabiliser les eaux par des moyens dont je venais de citer.
Since January 2020, Cameroon has been plagued with the cholera epidemic, with littoral counting more than 790 cases with over 44 deaths. The most touched zones in the region are the health districts in Nilong, Japuma, Bonasama, and New Bel.
And on to this top story, the head of state, President Paul Biya, has outlawed 2 decisions on logging concessions at the Ebo Forest. The move comes as a relief to some elites, political actors and civil society activists who had protested government's decision to open up the rich forest zone exploitation. More with you, Peter and Sosi, for details.
The cancellation of logging concessions in the Ebo Forest area by the head of state, President Paul Biya, follows hundreds of petitions from elites, political actors, traditional authorities and biodiversity experts. The Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife had issued 2 orders on the 4th of February 2020 proposing the classification of 2 forest management units for timber extraction. The decision provoked outrage. Forest conservationists had feared that the move will affect the rich flora and fauna of the zone. In the place of logging concessions, the government was rather urged to develop an inclusive land use plan with the local population and other stakeholders. Experts also proposed that the process will include financial and technical support from government and multinational partners to build consensus on options for sustainable land use and equally boost the tourism sector. The request was ignored when the Prime Minister, head of government, signed a decree on the 14th of July 2020 validating the 2 orders which classified the zone into a private domain of the state, which will later be transformed into 30 forest management units. The decision even divided elites of the area, those who favored the project and others who were against.
The Association of Vie de Santé have today, August 12, 2020, launched a book aimed at orientating the public on the need to maintain a healthy diet and its importance. The book has been launched in the economic capital and in a press conference in the country. Only Ladonet has details.
Eating is good, but knowing what to eat, when to eat, and the quantity to be eaten is very vital. This has therefore pushed the Association Vie de Santé into producing a book aimed at coaching individuals on how to maintain a healthy diet.
The book is to educate people, sensibilize them to know how to take care of them, because nowadays we see that there's many persons who are ill. The problem of illness is not about unless the environment, but the problem is about their quality of eating, how they eat, and that can even destroy themselves. It's the reason of that we allow them. We are called for everybody to come and buy that book.
A movement called La Révolution Camerounaise was also launched today by this association with aim to encourage the preservation of our cultural heritage.
Objective of this movement is to tell any Cameroonian, and why not all Africans, that we can build our country, we can build our future on base of our ancestral, how can I say, civilization? Okay, our ancestral civilization, because we have a too much benefit by building on it.
Good nutrition is an important part of leading a healthy lifestyle, as it not just helps in nourishing the body, but the mind as well.
And here we have reactions of the Ebo Forest declaration by the President of the Republic, and natives in the Ebo Forest have expressed mixed feelings following the cancellation of forest management units of the rich forest zone. Peter Nsosie caught up with some natives who expressed their feelings in this report.
The Banen community has welcomed the decision by the President of the Republic, cancelling the ministerial order which granted logging concessions in the Ebu forest. According to one of the elites, Barrister Emmanuel Sim, it is a victory, but they must remain vigilant.
J'en appelle donc à mes frères et à mes sœurs.
I am calling on my Banen brothers and sisters to be mobilized and vigilant, and to continue putting pressure on the government in order to restore our ancestral land.
De nous rétablir sur nos terres ancestrales.
The forest ministerial decision of February 4, 2020, that was strengthened by the Prime Ministerial Order of July 14, 2020, had bitterly divided the natives. Outlawing the logging concession scheme means the natives ought to regain their ancestral land.
C'est un droit inaliénable du peuple banen.
It is an inalienable right of the Banen people. We shall remain united and solid so that we can find ways of returning to our villages.
Nous concentrer à trouver les moyens de pouvoir par le travail rentrer dans nos villages.
Honorable Samuel Mout, who had supported the logging concessions of the Ebu forest, told us that the government has been tricked, but an official statement is expected by next week. The United Kingdom High Commission in Cameroon has called the move a big win for conservation.
To our international page, even though former President Barack Obama has taken a more active role recently to support presumptive Democratic Party nominee Joe Biden's presidential campaign, the ex-president has, for the most part, refrained from publicly criticizing his successor, President Donald Trump. Many are urging Obama to be a high-profile surrogate for Joe Biden. Details with the VOA.
Former President Barack Obama has come out on occasion to support his former Vice President Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic candidate.
And the thing I've got confidence in, Joe, is your heart and your character.
But for the most part, Obama has adhered to a tradition of presidential civility in not publicly attacking his successor, President Donald Trump. Since leaving office, Obama has taken on the role of elder statesman, advocating for causes he believes in. Speaking at the recent funeral of Congressman John Lewis, a civil rights icon, Obama did criticize Republicans for efforts to limit access for minority voters, but did not mention President Trump by name.
There are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting by closing polling locations and targeting minorities and students with restrictive ID laws.
However, President Trump has practiced no such restraint, directly attacking both his predecessor and Joe Biden as corrupt and incompetent. Trump has even accused Obama of treason for allegedly spying on his 2016 presidential campaign while investigating possible Russian interference in the election. The president has also worked to undo much of Obama's policies in pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, the Paris Climate Change Agreement, and trying to overturn his signature Obamacare health assistance program. Despite these attacks, Obama remains a popular figure in the country, and with the 2020 presidential election fast approaching, some Democrats want the former president to get more involved and take on Trump directly.
He can dig deeper into this anger, this anxiety that a lot of people are feeling, and help people understand what's really at stake in November.
At the 2016 Democratic convention that nominated Hillary Clinton, former First Lady Michelle Obama famously said about the Trump campaign, "When they go low, we go high." But Clinton went on to lose to Trump. This year, analysts expect both sides to engage in aggressive political attacks.
I don't think the 2020 election is an election in which anybody is going to hold back, right? I don't think there are going to be any punches pulled at all. This is a kind of a street fight of an election.
While former President Obama has been content to stay out of politics, his supporters expect him to play a major role in the 2020 campaign, beginning with a keynote speech at the upcoming Democratic convention. Brian Padden, VOA News, Washington.
Onto this sports update, Professor Narcisse Muea, Minister of Sports and Physical Education, President of COCAN 2020-2021, took part in a video conference meeting with senior officials of the Confederation of African Football CAF today, 12 August 2020, and also chaired an important session of COCAN 2020 as from 2 p.m. in Yaoundé Sports Multipurpose Complex. The session plays within the context of the operational relaunch of activities of COCAN, enabled the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, President of COCAN, to make various recommendations with a view to a good organization of CHAN, in accordance with the very high instruction of the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Paul Biya. To this effect, he urged all members of COCAN to redouble their efforts and commitments by taking necessary initiatives for a perfect organization of the competition, calling on all in their sense of pragmatism and responsibility, and considering the multifaceted constraints linked to the impacts of the indecencies of the COVID-19 pandemic. He requested that technical committees should maintain climate trust conditions for the smooth running of the competitions. To the tournament manager, he instructed the spirit of total commitment, discipline, availability, and proactivity for the follow-up of the implementation of this session resolution. He also ensured them that this agreement is of mayors of CHAN and 2020 hosts. Adding value to the lives of children and schools in less privileged localities has been one of the burdens for development by Gaz du Cameroun. Today at Groupe Scolaire Bilingue Espérance Divin, this day at Sodiko Bonaberry at the Douala 4 municipality. Christel Asexuele has details.
Make a lot of noise about it, but really to show its concern, care for education and for the people of Cameroon.
With the objective to contribute to the development of education and schools in less privileged localities, Gaz of Cameroon, championed by their managing director Eric Friend, accompanied by his collaborators, donated some useful commodities to the Groupe Scolaire Bilingue Espérance Divine this August 12, 2020 at the Bonendale Sodiko village in the Douala 4 municipality.
Meeting Madame Bal early in February, we were so impressed with what she had here that we knew that we had to get involved in terms of where the country is at the moment, and all these children that are here, most of them are from a relatively poor background, and also the parents are also not so financially stable. Douala has a lot more people that are financially stable, and out here with the crisis that we have in the country, not only in the pandemic but also what's happening in the southwest region, these children need an education, and that's why we got involved.
This donation, carried out at the school premises, was attended by administrative authorities, the regional delegate of basic education, traditional chiefs, and the staff of the school. During this event, the school's golden book was signed by the guests. Opened over a year ago, this donation will serve in the nursery and daycare as well as some administrative offices of the school.
Possible aux groupes qui n'ont pas les moyens de se l'offrir.
Giving the opportunity to those that don't have the possibility to get a good education, that a child schooling in Sodiko in this remote area will also be well followed up in a decent environment just like those of Bonanjo or Bonaprizo. And it's in this light that the action of Gaz Cameroon goes. We believe that our project of stretching to a daycare is already done with these donations.
À la crèche garderie a déjà vu le jour avec tous ces dons. Nous pourrons encadrer les tout petits.
Situated in one of the neighborhoods sheltering most of the IDPs from the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, Groupe Scolaire Bilingue Espérance Divine opens its doors to children from these areas, as every child thought is a man born.
And this is where we draw the curtains on tonight's edition of the news. Thanks for watching the 6 p.m. newscast. Remain with the French team with René Nassis Moto at 8 p.m. We will be back tomorrow to bring to you fresh information from around the country. Good night.